Good afternoon. This is the meditation and transmission from September 6, 2012. During meditation that morning, they were showing me walking upstairs, which is not a new concept for they often have me do some kind of elevation thing. But these stairs were quite big stone steps, very large stone steps, which you really had to hike right up. I thought, okay, where are we going with this? The stone was white, and I don't know if that's important, but it looked like white marble, and it was so very white it almost looked like ice. That's how white it looked. So I'm climbing up and saying, okay, so how long are you going to have me do this? Then I opened a door and I realized that I was in a tower, and what might be conceived or perceived as a castle tower. That's what it reminded me of. I was in this tower and they were there all lined up, and once again they looked like the Supreme Court the way they were all dressed. And I said, okay, is everybody here? Are you guys here? And they laughed and they said, well, we're always here. I said, okay, and I sat in the middle of them for a little while, and I said, if you guys have nothing to say, that's okay. It's all right no matter what. And they said, no, we've got kind of an important one for you to share and pass on today. What they were relaying was that people get locked up in the thought that only me, Annie, can talk to they. I know for a fact that there are other high spiritual groups of ascended masters and angels that do channeling to certain individuals here on this planet. I've always wondered if this group knew that group that knew this group, and I was always curious about that, and I finally got the answer, and yes, they do. They're all kind of associated with each other, and they all do intermingle. Kind of a neat thing. What they were talking about is how, and this is a lesson for anybody who's reading or listening to this, how you can achieve a discussion with they also. It isn't necessarily going to be the same group of they. I want to clear that up right off the bat. But it will be your own group of ascended masters and angels that you'll be talking to. This climbing thing was like the first step. So you envision yourself climbing higher and higher. And what they showed me were these white, very large, high stairs that looked like marble, very high steps. And you really had to lift each leg pretty high to get the foot up to the next step. Then open the tower door, and there is your own group of they, whoever they decide to identify themselves as. But there is one big thing here that's important to do first. If you open the door and you enter that tower room with your group of ascended masters and angels, and you have anything here at all that's blocking your heart, you're not going to have any communication whatsoever. You're just going to stand there like a stick. Not much of anything's going to happen. So what they showed me, and they had me do this over and over and over again, was to go back out that door that you came in, and then it was like removing a box out of your inside, and you took this box and you put it outside that door, and then you went back in. Every one of these boxes is an issue, one of your issues. It might be a preconceived issue, for that matter, of who you thought you were going to be talking to, or what you thought they were going to say, or whatever, but they are issues. This is why they had me going in and out, in and out of that door this morning. And it was to relay this, to hopefully make you understand that every time you have any kind of issue, it's pretend that it's in this box, and that you need to remove it out of your inside and leave that box outside the door before entering to speak with they. If you have preconceived notions about what it is that you're going to hear or relate to or whatever, There again, there's that box that needs to be pulled out and removed and put outside the door. The reason why they had me do this over and over again was to prove to people who hopefully will try to do this on their own that you're not to get discouraged because it might take 20 or 30 trips inside and outside that door until you finally get all these boxes removed. And to me, they looked like shoebox size, but of course, they really weren't. It's all a visual, but um, not all the boxes were the same size. For some of them were little teeny boxes, like a ring box. But they had to be taken out too, even if they were really little. If they're an issue, they need to be removed. Before you get all these boxes of issues and notions removed out of self, and therefore when you're going over into that tower room, you enter that room with absolutely zero issues, zero preconceived notions. You are like a blank slate. That is the time you go and say, okay, now tell me what it is that you have to share with me. They are nodding, and so that's the end of this transmission. I'm Aynne McAvoy, psychic astrologer in Palm Coast, Florida. My website is www.goldenshrines.com, and you can reach me anytime for questions or comments or whatever. I'm very reachable. Have a great day.